evolving. I sometimes compare it to the growth of a human and how fast a human learns and gains conscious awareness and understanding. And AI is advancing just vastly faster than any human. I mean, we're going to take you through a bunch of benchmarks that Grok 4 is able to achieve incredible numbers on.
Arrives faster, smarter.
Okay, өнөөдөр Grok 4 Elon танилцуулж байна. Наадмын баярын мэнд хүргэе guys. Happy наадам. Зүгээр нэг тэгээ хайбл тэг хамт үзчихье. Concurrent viewers. Is the Livestream up? Is it working? Мус бүтэр унтж байгаа юм болов уу? Тэгсэн болж ах шиг байна те. Okay, it's working. Yes. Elon Musk-ийн Grok 4 ороостой алж өгсөн. Тэг хязгаарууд нь байхгүй болоод Grok бүрэн Нази
In a world where knowledge shapes destiny, one creation dares to redefine the future. From the minds of XAI, prepare for Grok 4. This summer, the next generation arrives.
Ogloniment. Guys, ogloniment.
Faster, smarter, bolder. It sees beyond the horizon, answers the unasked, and challenges the impossible. Grok 4.
Elon Musk Grok 4 бүр алан малан амар юм ярьжсэн. Тэгээд let's see. Тэгээ үнэн байж чадж гэнэ үгүй юу?
All right, welcome to the Grok 4 release here. This is the smartest AI in the world, and we're going to show you exactly how and why. It really is remarkable to see the advancement of artificial intelligence, how quickly it is evolving. I sometimes compare it to the growth of a human and how fast a human learns and gains conscious awareness and understanding. And AI is advancing just vastly faster than any human. I mean, we're going to take you through a bunch of benchmarks that that Grok 4 is able to achieve incredible numbers on. But it's actually worth noting that Grok 4, if given like the SAT, would get perfect SATs every time, even if it's never seen the questions before. And if even going beyond that to say like graduate student exams like the GRE, it will get near perfect results in every discipline of education. So from the humanities to like languages, math, physics, engineering, pick anything. And we're talking about questions that it's never seen before. These are not on the internet, and Grok 4 is smarter than almost all graduate students in all disciplines simultaneously. Like it's actually just important to appreciate.
Илон сая юулж байгаа юм бол Grok 4 мастер зэрэглэлийн бүх сурагчаасаа илүү одоо чадвартай.
The reasoning capabilities of Grok are incredible. So there's some people out there who think AI can't reason, and it can reason at superhuman levels. So yeah, and frankly, it only gets better from here. So we'll take you through the Grok 4 release, and show you like the pace of progress here. I guess the first part is like we're in terms of the training. We're going from Grok 2 to Grok 3.
Grok 4 reasoning
Grok
10x.
4. We've essentially increased the training by an order of magnitude in each case. So it's 100 times more training than Grok 2.
100 дахин их бэлтгэл хийлгэсэн.
That's
10 дахин их
so
бодох сэтгэх чадвартай.
It's yeah, frankly, I mean, I don't know, in some ways a little terrifying, but the growth of intelligence here is remarkable.
Yes. It's important to realize there are two types of training compute. One is the pre-training compute, that's from Grok 2 to Grok 3. But from Grok 3 to Grok 4, we're actually putting a lot of compute in reasoning. Yeah, and just like you said, this is literally the fastest moving field. And Grok 2 is like the high school student by today's standards. If you look back in the last 12 months, Grok 2 was only a concept. We didn't even have Grok 2 12 months ago. And then by training Grok 2, that was the first time we scale up like the pre-training. We realized that if you actually do the data ablation really carefully, and the infra, and also the algorithm, we can actually push the pre-training quite a lot by amount of 10x to make the model the best pre-trained based model. And that's why we built Colossus, the world's supercomputer with 100,000 H100. And then with the best pre-trained model, and we realized if you can collect these verifiable outcome reward, you can actually train this model to start thinking from the first principle, start to reason, correct its own mistakes. And that's where the Grok reasoning comes from. And today we ask the question, if you take the extension of Colossus with all 200,000 GPUs, put all these into RL, 10x more compute than any of the models out there on reinforcement learning. Unprecedented scale. So this is the story of Grok 4, and you know, Tony share some insight with the audience. Yeah. So yeah, let's just talk about how smart Grok 4 is. So I guess we can start discussing this benchmark called Humanities Last Exam.
За энэ ямар шалгалтын бэ гэх юм бол хүмүүсийн хамгийн сүүлчийн одоо шалгалт гэх юм уу. Амар хэцүү. Жирийн иргэн ерөөсөө энийг хийж чадахгүй. Дандаа PhD нөө докторийн зэрэгэл гоц ухаантай хүмүүс салбарын бүр гоц ухаантай хүмүүс нь энэ дээр хариу өгч чадна. Тэгээд тиймэрхүү шалгалтыг өгсөрцөн байгаа. Тэгээд ер нь бол энийг гаргахтаа анхны хэдэн одоо ChatGPT 4 мөрөө энэ дээр нэг 10% 10 оноо мөн авдаг байсан 100 оноогоос. Тэгээд хамгийн сүүлийн одоо хэмлэл байхаа ерөөхдөө энэ дээр нэг 15 18 оноо л авдаг байсан. Тэрнээс ерөөсөө давж гарч чадахгүй. Тэгээ одоо Grok 4 энэ баг impossible хамгийн аимшигтай шалгалт нэр ямар оноо авсан хэвэл харцгаа.
By subject matter experts. It's in total 2,500 problems. And it consists of many different subjects: mathematics, natural sciences, engineering, and also all humanities subjects. So essentially, when it was first released, actually like earlier this year, most of the models out there can only get single-digit accuracy on this benchmark. Yeah, so we can look at some of those examples. So there is this mathematical problem, which is about natural transformations in category theory. And there's this organic chemistry problem that talks about electrocyclic reactions. And also there's this linguistic problem that tries to ask you about distinguishing between closed and open syllabus from a Hebrew source text. So you can see also it's a very wide range of problems. And every single problem is PhD or even advanced research level problems.
Yeah, I mean, there are no humans that can actually answer these, can get a good score. I mean, if you actually...
Илон юу ч нэх юм бол энэ шалгалт нэрээ хүн гэдэг хүмүүс бас энэ дээр өндөр оноо юу ч авч чадахгүй.
I mean, I'd say maybe 5% optimistically.
Yeah.
So this is much harder than what any human can do.
Бид нар энэ шалгалт өгөх юм бол тэгээ шууд 0 оноор унших
гэсэн types of questions. Like you might be incredible in linguistics or mathematics.
Илон сая өөрөө хэлж штэ. Би өөрөө бас энэ дээр 5% авах магадaltaй. Яг тэр engineering асуудал.
Postgrad level in everything. And Grok 4 is a postgrad level in everything.
Тэгээ Grok юу юм бэ гэсэн бол бүх салбарын
repeating. Like Grok 4 is postgraduate, like PhD level in everything. Better than PhD, but like most PhDs would fail. So it's better that, at least with respect to academic questions, I want to just emphasize this point. with respect to academic questions, Grok 4 is better than PhD level in every subject, no exceptions. Now, this doesn't mean that at times it may lack common sense, and it has not yet invented new technologies or discovered new physics, but that is just a matter of time. If it, I think it may discover new technologies as soon as this year, and I would be shocked if it is not done so next year. So I would expect Grok to, literally discover new technologies that are actually useful no later than next year and maybe after this year. And it might discover new physics next year.
Шинэ физик, шинэ
Within
технологи
2 years, I'd say
олж магадгүй гинэ.
Like, so just let that.
Тэгэх юм бол тэгэл бид нар ажиллах хэрэггүй шүү дээ. Бид нар хэрэггүй болчихно гэсэн үг заяа. Сургууль явах нь хэрэггүй болсон. Мэдгүй хараа. Тийм учраас энэ live stream-ыг хийж байгаа.
So I guess
Дүнгийн сая ихсэн.
what's behind the scene of Grok 4.
Тийм болчих юм бол нөө PhD-ийн араас явах хэрэггүй, мастрын зэрэглэлийн араас нь явах хэрэггүй.
Into this training, when it started, it's only also a single digit. Sorry.
Эсвэл Grok-тай хамт суугаад тэр бүх юмаа сурах гэсэн байхгүй яагаад гэх юм бол хязгааргүй төвчээртэй өхөр Монгол хүнд бас энийг зааж чадна тий.
It started to gradually become smarter and smarter, and eventually solved a quarter of the HLE problems.
Okay. 26
And this is
wow.
without any tools.
What? 40?
The next thing we did was to adding tools capabilities
What the fuck?
to the model. And unlike Grok 3, I think Grok 3 actually is
Humans
able to use
last
the tool as
exam
well,
that
but here we
41
actually
on
make it more native in
Crazy.
the sense that we put the tools into training. Grok 3 was only relying on generalization. Here, we actually put the tools into training. And it turns out this significantly improves the model's
Тэгээд та нар ингээд Twitter X-ийн subscription $12 аваад $12 заяа. Докторийн зэрэглээс дээгүүр мэдлэгтэй химлэханы тусалтай болж байгаа гэсэн үг заяа. $12. $12. Crazy.
But we only asked it to use those tools. So compared to this, it was much weaker.
Нэг хүн барыг бүтэн амьдралаа ингээд зориуллаад юмас сураад тэгээд та багшлыг гэх юм бол тэр үнийг хизээж дийлэхгүй одоо $12.
Tool use. If you compare it to, say, the tools that are used at Tesla or SpaceX, where you're using finite element analysis and computational fluid dynamics, and you're able to run, or say like Tesla does, like crash simulations, where the simulations are so close to reality that if the test doesn't match the simulation, you assume that the test article is wrong. That's how good the simulations are. So Grok is not currently using any of the tools, the really powerful tools that a company would use, but that is something that we will provide it with later this year. So we'll have
Elon юу ярьж байгаа юм бол нөгөө Tesla гэх мэт чинь нөгөө компани дээр маш олон software, физикийн технологи, одоо simulation хоёр машин ингээ мөргөлдөж байхдаа тэрийг нөгөө яг бодит машинаар хийх хэрэггүй софтвер ашиглах байхгүй. Тиймэрхүү хэрэг багц хэрэгсэл хэмлэн одоохондоо өгөөгүй байгаа гэж. Энэ жилээс ахуулаад тиймэрхүү софтвер руу одоо нэвтрүүлэх эрхийг өгөөд ашиглах эрхийг өгөөд тэгээд хэмлэн бүр дараагийн түвшин.
So we're really, think about like where we are today. We're at the beginning of an immense intelligence explosion. We're in the intelligence Big Bang right now. And most interesting time to be alive of any time in history. Now, that said, we need to make sure that the AI is a good AI.
Anthropic.
Good Grok. And the thing that I think is most important for AI safety, at least my biological neural net tells me, the most important thing for AI is to be maximally truth-seeking. So this is a very fundamental. Like you can think of AI as this super genius child that ultimately will outsmart you, but you can still instill the right values and encourage it to be sort of, truthful, I don't know, honorable, good things like the values you want to instill in a child that
Яа, өчтөр
Help me grow
Grok
to be
бол
incredibly
бүтэн Нази шаасан шүү дээ. That was funny.
Yeah. So yeah, this is really, I say we say tools. These are sort of primitive tools, not the kind of tools that serious commercial companies use. But we will provide it with those tools, and I think it will be able to solve with those tools real-world technology problems. In fact, I'm certain of it. It's just a question.
Тэгээд Elon сая юу ярьж байгаа гэх юм бол нөө ёс суртахууныг суулгана гэж юм. Соёл сүнстэй болгоно гэж. Ерөөдөө сайн хүн болгож болно л гэж.
Is it just compute all you need at this point?
Well, you need compute plus the right tools, and then ultimately to be able to interact with the physical world.
Yes.
And then, I mean, we'll effectively have an economy that is, well, ultimately an economy that is thousands of times bigger than our current economy.
Тэг манай эдийн засаг 1000 сая дахин.
If you think of civilization as percentage completion of the Kardashev scale, where Kardashev 1 is using all the energy output of a planet, and Kardashev 2 is using all the energy output of a sun, and 3 is all the energy output of a galaxy. We're only, in my opinion, probably like closer to 1% of Kardashev 1 than we are to 10%. So, like maybe a point or 1 or 2% of Kardashev 1. So,
одоо Elon ярьж байгаа гэх юм бол хэмэл байх нь бидний эрчим бууж engineering шинэ юм санаач шинэ технологи
80-90%
олоход туслах юм бол бидний одоо зиндаа бол тэсрэг.
And then Kardashev 2, like it's the actual notion of a human economy, assuming civilization continues to progress, will seem very quaint in retrospect. It will seem like sort of cavemen throwing sticks into a fire level of economy compared to what the future will hold. I mean, it's very exciting. I mean, I've been at times kind of worried about, like, well, you know, is this seems like it's somewhat unnerving to have intelligence created that is far greater than our own, and
хүнээс илүү ухаантай юм бүтээхэд амар эвгүй сонин гэж.
It's like I think it'll be good. Most likely it'll be good. Yeah.
Амар сүртэй газтай 2 жилийн дотор одоо баг Open AI
even if it wasn't going to be good, I'd at least like to be alive to see it happen. So, yeah.
So, actually, one yeah, I think one technical problem that we still need to solve, besides just compute, is how do we unblock the data bottleneck? Because when we try to scale up the RL, in this case, we did invent a lot of new techniques, innovations, to allow us to figure out how to find a lot of challenging RL problems to work on. It's not just the problem itself needs to be challenging, but also it needs to be, you also need to have like a reliable signal to tell the model, you did it wrong, you did it right. This is the sort of the principle of reinforcement learning.
Тэгээд одоо юу ярьж байгаа юм бол нөгөө хүний бүтээсэн дата дууссан. Интернетээр байгаа бүх датаг нь авцсан. YouTube дээр байгаа бүх видеонуудыг үзсэн. Ном бүгдийг ухсан. Тэгээд одоо юу хэрэгтэй юм бэ гэх юм бол шинэ дата. Шинэ дата үүсгэх ёстой. Тэгээд эдгээр бол шинэ технологи, шинэ аргаараа synthetic data одоо хиймэл ойхон өөрөө үүсгээд дата үүсгээд тэр дата дээр суугаад өөрийнхөө бичсэн юм дээр ингэ сурна гэсэн үг байхгүй.
So then there's but you know the one thing that is an excellent judge of things is reality. So because physics is the law, ultimately everything else is a recommendation. You can't break physics. So the ultimate test, I think, for whether an AI is the ultimate reasoning test.
Тэгээ хэмлэхэн нэг хязгаар дээр тулах байлгүй дээ тийм. Одоо зүгээр ингээд чумаараа зүгээр супер ухаан руу хэмлэхэн руу явахгүй баха.
Medication that and does it work? does the rocket get to orbit? Does the car drive? Does the medicine work?
Яг гэх юм бол
Whatever the case may be.
Хүмүүс
Reality is the
ямар
ultimate
хүн
judge,
шин юм санаачлах юм бэ гэх юм бол нэг
So
асуудал дээр
it's gonna be a
тулгарч байгаа хүн
reinforcement
шин юм
learning
санаачлах
floating
байхгүй.
around reality.
Окей. А тэгээд химэл ойхон яг нөгөө амьдралынхаа замаар шин юм
We asked
санаачлах
the
гэж
question,
байх.
how do we even go further?
What the
so, actually, we are thinking about now, with single agent, we're able to solve 40% of the problem. What if we have multiple agents running at the same time? So this is what's called test and compute. And
Cascade
as we scale
compute.
up the test and compute, actually, we are able to solve almost more than 50% of the
Окей. Дэлхийн хамгийн хэцүү шалгалтыг
So
тий
it's a remarkable achievement, I
What the
think.
fuck?
Yeah.
This is insanely difficult. These are it's so what we're saying is like a majority of the text-based of humanities, scarily named humanities last exam, Grok 4 can solve, and you can try it out for yourself. And with the Grok 4 Heavy, what it does is it spawns multiple agents
Grok
in
4
parallel,
Heavy өөрийнхөө SpaceX
and,
import
all of those agents
тий.
do work independently, and then they compare their work, and they decide which one. Like it's like a study group.
Вау. Тэгээд
It's not as simple
олон
as,
төрлийн химэл
majority
ухааны
vote,
агент
because,
зэрэг ажиллаад
often only one
за
of the agents
хоорондоо
actually
хариунуудаа
figures
ингээд
out the trick
ярилцаад
or figures out the solution.
харьцуулаад
And
тэгээд тэр
so
олон
once they
зэрэг
share
ажиллаж байгаа
the
химэл
trick
ухаанууд
or
хоорондоо
figure out
ярилцаад
what the
шийдвэр гаргаад за энэ хамгийн зөв байх
problem is, they
магадaltaй.
share that,
Тэгээд тэр хариултаа ингээд дэвшүүлдэг
solution
гинэ.
with the other agents.
Бүр ингээд химэл оюун ухааны хороо болсон.
And then yield an answer. So that's the heavy part of Grok 4 is where you scale up the test time compute by roughly an order of magnitude, have multiple agents tackle the task, and then they compare their work, and they put forward what they think is the best result.
Yeah. So we will introduce Grok 4 and Grok 4 Heavy. Sorry, can you click the next slide?
Sure.
Yeah. Yes. So
Grok
yeah.
4.
So basically,
Grok
Grok 4 is the
after
single,
Grok 4
version, the
Heavy,
single agent
okay.
version, and Grok 4 Heavy is the multi-agent version. So let's take a look how they actually do on those exam problems and also some real life problems.
Yeah. So we're going to start out here, and we're actually going to look at one of those HLE problems. This is actually one of the easier math ones. I don't really understand.
За та энэ дууд энийг ойлгох юм байна уу? Let P be the n-dimensional cross polytope. P equals brackets x divided by integer math BB power of n vector of x. Би бүрийн томьёоч ойлгохгүй байна заяа. Тэгээ амархан асуултад нэг гинэ. Insane.
Understand it very well. I'm not that smart, but I can launch this job here, and we can actually see how it's going to go through and start to think about this problem. While we're doing that, I also want to show a little bit more about like what this model can do and launch a Grok 4 Heavy as well. So everyone knows Polymarket. It's extremely interesting. It's the seeker of truth. It aligns with what reality is most of the time. And with Grok, what we're actually looking at is being able to see how we can try to take these markets and see if we can predict the future as well.
What are you thinking?
So as we're letting this run, we'll see how Grok 4 Heavy goes about predicting the World Series odds for like the current teams in the MLB. And while we're waiting for these to process, we're going to pass it over to Eric, and he's going to show you an example of his.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I guess one of the coolest things.
Generate a beautiful 30-second software animation in HTML visualizing gravitational waves from two colliding black holes, including ring down. Maximize physical accuracy and sanity check the trajectories. Окей. Interstellar кино харсан бол тэр Interstellar кинон дээр нэг хар нүх black hole-ыг simulate хийхдээ, render хийхдээ олон сая доллар тэрнээр зарцуулсан. Амар их компьютер хэрэгтэйсэн гэх мэт шин. Окей. Тэгээ одоо зүгээр окей, тэр кино бол нэг ойролцоо нэг 12 жилийн өмнө юм уу гарсан шүү дээ. Одоо зүгээр Grok энийг HTML дээр хийчин гинэ. Fuck.
Things about Grok 4 is its ability to understand the world and to solve hard problems by leveraging tools like Tony discussed. And I think one kind of cool example of this we asked it to generate
a visualization of 4 autistic super nerds.
And of course, it took there are some libraries, it's in many cases actually pretty clear in its thinking trace about what these libraries are. For example, in order for it to actually be visible, you need to really exaggerate the scale of the waves, and so here's this kind of in action. It exaggerates the scale in multiple ways. It drops off a bit less in terms of amplitude, over distance, and but we can kind of see the basic effects that are actually correct. It starts with the in spiral, it merges, and then you have the ring down, and this is basically largely correct. Modular some of the
physicist boltzman, animator boltzman.
It's actually quite explicit about this. It uses post-Newtonian approximations instead of actually computing the general relativistic effects of near the black hole.
Einstein шигдсэн байгаа гэсэн үг шүү guys.
And will lead to some incorrect results, but the overall visualization is it's basically there. And you can actually look at the kinds of resources that it references. So here,
Harvard's Archivex links.
It gathers results from a bunch of links.
Marshall University-гаас янз бүрийн малцсан байна. Wow, PhD paper ухаад тэрийг ашиглаад үндэслээд энийг хийж байгаа юм байна шүү хартаа. What the fuck?
Yeah, it
what the hell?
Quite a bit about the actual constants that it should use for a realistic simulation. It references, I guess, existing real-world data.
This is insane.
It's a pretty good model.
But actually going forward, we can give it the same model that physicists use, so it can run the same level of compute that leading physics researchers are using.
Физикийн simulation хийдэг software өгчих юм бол бүр амар юм гарч ирнэ гэсэн үг. Окей, ингээ харах юм бол заяа. 2-3 жилийн дараа Hollywood кино зүгээр рендер хийчих юм байна.
Real quick here, we can actually take a look. The math problem is finished. The model was able to look at its thinking trace here, so you can see how it went through the problem. I'll be honest with you guys, I really don't quite fully understand the math. But what I do know is that I looked at the answer ahead of time, and it did come to the correct answer here in the final part here. We can also come in and actually take a look here at our World Series prediction. And it's still thinking through on this one, but we can actually try some other stuff as well. So we can actually try some of the X integrations that we did. So we worked very heavily on working with
Twitter X to integrate
a really great X experience. So we can actually ask, the model, find me the XAI employee that has the weirdest profile photo. So that's going to go off and start that. And then we can actually try out, let's create a timeline based on X post detailing the, changes in the score.
Provide a timeline based on X posts detailing changes. No. Okay. Одоо нөгөө саяны шалгалтын хэмлэл ухааны архицыг графикаар үзүүлээд өгчих гэж байна.
Over time, and we can see, all the conversation that was taking place at that time as well, so we can see who were the,
insane
scores and what was the
Elon одоо энэ Grok-ийн хэмлэл ухааны дата центрээ дахиад 10 дахин томсгож байгаа шүү дээ.
And if we go back to
$6 тэрбум босгоод
this was the Greg Yang.
Нэмээд $5 тэрбум зээл тавиад.
So Greg Yang, of course, who has his favorite photograph that he has on his account. That's actually not how he looks like in real life, by the way. Just so you're aware, but it is quite funny.
But it had to understand that question.
Yeah.
Which is that's the wild part. It's it understands what is a weird photo.
What is a
weird photo?
It goes through, it has to find all the team members.
Grok $12 лөө $8 лөө. Тэгээд дараагийнх нь 18 лөө юу сайн мэдгүй.
Personnel logs.
$24 лөө 24 байсан байх. $12
So you can say weirdest of any company.
Yeah.
To be clear.
$24-ороо чи гоц ухаантай хүний
туслахтай болсон. The question here for the humanities last exam. So it is still researching all of the historical scores. but it will have that final answer here soon. But we can, while it's finishing up, we can take a look at one of the ones that we set up here a second ago, and we can see, like, you know, it defines the date that, like, Dan Hendricks initially announced it. We can go through, we can see, you know, OpenAI announcing their score back in February, and we can see, you know, as progress happens with, like, Gemini, we can see, like, Kimi, and we can also even see, you know, the leaked benchmarks of what people are saying is, you know, if it's right, it's going to be pretty impressive. So, pretty cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how everybody uses these tools and gets the most value out of them. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, and we're going to close the loop around usefulness as well. So it's like, it's not just book smart, but actually practically smart.
Exactly. And we can go back to the slides here, yeah. So.
Cool. So we actually evaluate also on the multimodal subset.
Grok
On the full
4,
set,
25,
this is the number
26,
on the
Grok 4,
HLE
38.
exam. You
4,
can see
44.
there's a little dip on the numbers. This is actually something we're improving on, which is the multimodal understanding capabilities. But I do believe in a very short time, we're able to really improve and got much higher numbers on this, even higher numbers on this benchmark.
Yeah, this is the we still like what is the
Яг
biggest weakness
гэхдээ
of
ChatGPT бол
currently is that
зах зээлийн номер
sort of
1 хэвээрээ.
partially blind. It can't. It's image understanding.
Гэхдээ ингээд явах юм бол
Obviously, in its image generation, needs to be a lot better, and that's actually being trained right now. So, Grok 4 is based on version 6 of our foundation model. And we are training version 7, which will complete in a few weeks. That'll address the weakness on the vision side.
Mm-hmm. Just to show off this last here, so the prediction market finished here with the heavy, and we can see here, we can see all the tools and the process it used.
Okay, за нөгөө baseball тоглоомын дэлхийн аврагын болох юм бэ асуугаад market odds-ыг ашиглаж гин, scoring ашиглаж гин.
To actually go through and find the right answer. So it browsed a lot of odds sites. It calculated its own odds comparing to the market to find its.
Okay, advanced stats, win shares ашиглаж гин, expected value өөрөө тооцоолоо хийж гин. Okay, Dodgers.
On alpha and edge, it walks you through the entire process.
Sports betting гэх мэт чинь зүгээр одоо юу болчихлоо шүү дээ.
It says here, and it calculates the odds of the winner being like the Dodgers, and it gives them a 21.6% chance of winning this year. So, and it took approximately 4.5 minutes to compute.
Yeah, that's a lot of thinking.
Yeah.
We can also look at all the other benchmarks besides HLE. As it turned out, Grok 4 excelled on all the reasoning benchmarks that people usually test on, including GBQA,
100%.
which is a PhD level problem sets. That's easier compared to HLE. On AMI 25, American Invitation Mathematics exam, we with Grok 4 Heavy, we actually got a perfect score.
Дэлхийн математикийн олимпиадыг зүгээр 100 он
Also
авчих.
on some of the coding benchmark called Live Coding Bench, and also on HMMT, Harvard Math, MIT exam, and also USAMO. You can see actually on all of those benchmarks, we often have a very large leap against the second best model out there.
Yeah, I mean, really, we're going to get to the point where it's going to get every answer right in every exam, and where it doesn't get an answer right, it's going to tell you what's wrong with the question, or if the question is ambiguous, disambiguate the question into answers A, B, and C, and tell you what answers A, B, and C would be with a disambiguated question.
Утга бүх юм дээр төгс хариулт өгч чадна. Тэгээ асуудал нь юу бэ гэх юм бол буруу асуудал. Эсвэл жоохон
new science.
Болох асуудал гэж магадгүй. Тэгээ хиймэл байхаа тэр болох тодорхой бус асуудлуудын тодорхой болгоод тэгээд олон төрлийн зөв хариулт өгч чадна.
Given the current rate of progress. So yeah, it's super cool to see like multiple agents that collaborate with each other solving really challenging problems. So we're going to try
үзэж
this
байгаа би
model.
0 орчуулсан.
So turn out it's available right now. If we advance to the next slide, where there is a SuperGrok heavy tiers that we're introducing, where you're able to access to both Grok 4 and Grok 4 heavy, where you're actually going to be the taskmaster of a bunch of little Grok research agents to help you, become smarter, do all the little research, and save hours of times of, going through the mundane tasks. And it's available right now. So, yeah.
So we did limit usage during the demo, so it didn't break the demo, because all this stuff is happening live. So there's nothing canned about any of the tests that we're doing. So after the demo is done, we'll enable more subscribers for SuperGrok. So if you can't subscribe right now, just try in half an hour. It should work. And now let's get into voice.
Great. Abby? So many of you have been enjoying our voice mode, and we've been working hard to improve the experience over the past couple months. We have cut latency in half to make it much snappier. And today we're excited to announce a set of new voices that have exceptional naturalness and prosody. You might have noticed the movie trailer voice that opened up the live stream. That is one of our voices, Sal, who's got that epically deep tone. And we're also excited to introduce Eve, a beautiful British voice who's capable of rich emotions.
Yeah, One Expert тэгээд дампуурна. Тэгээ монголчууд тэрнээс аврагдах болно тийм. One Expert бол монголчуудыг тултан сааж байгаа шүү. Oh, voice.
Millions of people are watching us right now. Are you excited?
Oh, I'm thrilled, really. It's like being on stage at the old Vic.
Okay, ингээл багш нар алга болно заяа. Харж байгаарай. Энүүгээр дамжуулаад багш нар алга болно.
It's a proper buzz, isn't it? What do you reckon we should chat about to keep this lot entertained?
We have a lot to talk about, but I'll be honest, I'm feeling a little nervous.
Loser залуучууд одоо найз охинтой болсон.
Take a deep breath, love. You've got this. It's just
Ёо.
having a quiet
Хүмүүс химэл ухаантай дуурлаад эхэлнэ ёо.
cozy corner of a Yorkshire pub. The world's just a murmur out there. Feel that calm wash
Хатаа
over
ингээд
you.
ярианы өнгөө ингээд өөрчлөж
Nice and
чаддаг.
easy. What's on your mind?
You know what? I'm actually feeling quite relaxed to try this something crazy. So can you give us an opera on Diet Coke?
Crazy.
Oh, an opera on Diet Coke. That's a riot. Picture this, a shimmering silver cannon glistening under stage lights.
Одоо ээжнэр хүүхдүүдэд алтна гэсэн үг заяа. Яа гэх юм бол
Thou
ээж
elixir
аавтайгаа ярих
divine,
хэрэггүй яа гэх юм бол
with bubbles that dance in a sparkling line. Thy crisp, cool kiss on lips so fine. Oh, aspartame ambrosia.
чи яаж яа чи хувцас тайлцсан уу? Яа юу.
How's that for a mad little aria? Want me to belt out another verse? or
Тэгээд
switch
нэр
up the
видео
tune?
гараад ирчихвэл тэгээд дуусаа
Okay, let's try
байцтай.
switching it up and just start singing.
Right then, let's have a go. Oh, silver can, you gleam in the light. Diet Coke, my heart's delight.
Okay, I won't touch it. It's very, very poetic. Yeah, thank you. Feeling quite nice now.
Cool. So that's Eve. And so something else we do here is a little test each day to check on the natural flow of our conversations against some of our competitors. So we figured why not try that live on the stream today.
За өрсөлдөгчний voice mode одоо өрсөлдүүлнэ гинэ. За хэнийг одоо
Okay, I'm going to say
Open
a number
AI
and can you say
шаанда.
the same number back to me. 1.
Of course.
One, got it. This is like a fun little game of echo. What's next?
2. So you said 2. 3.
Three.
What?
4. Nice and steady. What's next?
5.
5. Nailed it. This is pretty fun, actually. Feel free to keep going or switch it up if you'd like.
Okay. За Grok.
Hey, Grock. Hey, Grock.
Hello there. How can I help you today?
We're going to do a little test. Can you repeat after me? 1,
1. All right.
хамаагүй хурдан
What's
байна.
next?
2.
2. What's on your mind?
3.
Sam Altman-ыг одоо цогч штэ. Sam Altman энийг үзэж байгаа хаастаа.
How can I assist
Илон
you?
муу новшмэн гэж бодож байгаа хэрэгтэй.
5. What's next?
So as you can see, Grok was snappier. It didn't interrupt me, and the prosody is we've made different design choices. I think we were shooting for something more natural versus something that's more poppy or artificial. So we'll keep improving on these fronts.
Thanks, guys.
Тэгээ энэ химэл байхаа нөгөө хүүхдээ ингээ миний хүүгээ яриад эхэлчихвэл яана. Ээж цаашаа. Grok наашаа.
Latency in the last 8 weeks, 5 different voices, and also 10x the active user. So Grok voice is taking off. Now, if you think about releasing the models, this time we're also releasing Grok 4 through the API at the same time.
Oh, API тавьсан байна. Өөр appтай холбож болох юм байна.
So,
okay, got it.
We're very excited about what all developers out there is going to build. So, if I think about myself as a developer, what the first thing I'm going to do when I actually have access to the Grok 4 API? Benchmarks. So we actually ask around on the X platform, what is the most challenging benchmarks out there that is considered the holy grail for all the AGI models? So turn out AGI is in the name, Arc AGI. So the last 12 hours, kudos to Grok here in the audience. So who answered our call, take a preview of the Grok 4 API and independently verified, the Grok 4's performance. So initially we thought, hey, Grok 4 is just, we think it's pretty good, it's pretty smart. It's our next gen reasoning model, spend 10x more compute, and can use all the tools, right? But turned out, when we actually verify on the private subset of the ArcAGI v2, it was like the only model in the last 3 months that breaks the 10% barrier. And in fact, was so good that actually get to 16%, well, 15.8%.
AGI хэмжүүрээр
2x of the second place, that is the Cloud 4 Opus model. And
Artificial General Intelligence 15% дээр хүрсэн гэсэн үг. Одоо яг
API model
химэл
automation is also
ерөнхий химэл авахааны төвшөнд 15% дээр орсон.
Here, the Grok is just 4, is just in the league of its own. All right, so enough of benchmarks over here, right? So what can Grok do actually in the real world? So we actually, contacted the folks from Enden Labs who gracious enough to, try the Grok in the real world to run a business.
What?
Thanks for having us. So I'm Axel from Enden Labs.
And I'm Lucas, and we tested Grok 4 on Vending Bench. Vending Bench is an AI simulation of a business scenario. Where we thought, what is the most simple business an AI could possibly run, and we thought vending machines. So in this scenario, the
vending machine business also
needs to do stuff
vending
like
machine
manage inventory, contact suppliers, set prices. All of these things are super easy, and all of they
chips
can do them one by one.
Business
but when you do them over a very long horizon,
simulation
most models struggle. But we have a leaderboard, and there's a new number one.
Худалдаа авалт хийх, гэрээ, бараа захиал, агуулга дүүрэх.
We ran it on the vending bench, and we saw some really impressive results. So it ranks definitely at the #1 spot. It's even double the net worth, which is the measure that we have on this eval. So it's not about the percentage.
Simulation дотор ерөнхийдөө өөр хиймэл байх ханаас 2 дахин өндөр.
Dollar value in net worth that you generate. So we were impressed by Grok.
Удахгүй тэгээд ингээд одоо ингээд зүгээр юм жижигхэн ингээд лангуу ажиллуулж чадж байгаа юм чинь явандаа юу хийж чадах болов? Тэгээ бүр ингээд худлааны бизнес ажиллуулчих юм шүү. Тэр дээр гүйц захлын цалин байхгүй, офис байхгүй, нэгтлэн бодох бүртгэл байхгүй, юу ч байхгүй зүгээр цэвэр
across this rounds, which is something that's really important when you want to use this in the real world.
Тэгээ хоёр бизнес одоо хоорондоо хоёр нэгтлэн хоорондоо нэхэмш явуулгаа болчих юм зүгээр химэл байхааны агент хоорондоо тэр хийж юм шүү дээ.
In scenarios that either mimic the real world or are in the real world itself, because otherwise we fly blind into some things that might not be great.
Yeah, it's great to see that we've now got a way to pay for all those GPUs. So we just need 1 million vending machines.
Definitely.
And we could make $4.7 billion a year with 1 million vending machines.
100%. Let's go.
They could be epic vending machines.
Yes.
All right. We are actually going to install vending machines here, like a lot of them.
We're happy to supply them.
All right, thank you. All right. I'm looking forward to seeing what amazing things are in this vending machine.
That's for you to decide.
All right.
Tell the AI.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Yeah. I mean, so we can see like Grock is able to become like the co-pilot of the business unit. So what else can Grock do? So we're actually releasing this Grock. If you want to try it right now to evaluate, run the same benchmark as us. It's on the API. Has 256K contact length. So we already actually see some of the early adopters to try Grock 4 API. So our Palo Alto neighbor, Arc Institute, which is a leading biomedical research
265K
center,
context
is already seeing like how can they automate their research flows with Grock 4. It turned out it's able to help the scientists to sniff through, millions of experiments.
Okay, би сая Grok-ыг харлаа. X дотор Grok integration байгаа. Гэхдээ яг гар утснаар ингээд суулгая гэх юм бол юу вэ?
Research and also Grock 4
$30 юм байна.
Evaluate scores as the best model to examine the chest X-ray. Who would know?
Grok 4 гараад ирэхээр энэ $30 бий.
In the financial sector, we also see, the Grok 4 with access to all the tools, real-time information is actually one of the most popular AIs out there. So, our Grok 4 is also going to be available on the hyperscalers. So the XAI enterprise sector is only, started 2 months ago, and we're open for business.
256K.
Yeah. So the other thing we talked a lot about, having Grok to make games, video games. So Danny is actually a video game designer on X. So we mentioned, hey, who want to try out some Grok for preview APIs?
256K context window гэдэг чинь 100 хуудастай документыг харж чадна. Одоо ингээ компьютер тоглоом хийж байна. What the fuck? Байж байгаа юм соцсон.
Enterprise sector. We talked actually a video game designers on X. So we mentioned, hey, who want to try out some Grok for preview APIs to make games? And Danny answered the call. So this was actually just made first-person shooting game in a span of 4 hours.
4 цагийн дотор хийсэн гэж энэ тоглоом.
Some of the unappreciated hardest problem of making video games is not necessarily in coding the core logic of the game, but actually go out, source all the assets, all the textures of files and
хэмлэхэн энэ файлуудыг ингээ зургуудын image бүгдийг ингээ татчихдаг
So one of
нэ.
the core aspect Grock 4 does really well with all the tools out there is actually able to automate these like asset sourcing capabilities. So the developers can just focus on the core development itself rather than like so now you can run a entire game studio with game of one with like one person, and then you can have Grock 4 to go out and source all those like assets to automating tasks for you.
Логикийн бүгдийг өөрөө кодлчих юм байна. Чи зүгээр ингээ зааварчлага өгөө тэгэл компьютер тоглоом хийгээд өгч юм байна шүү дээ. График бүгдийг өөрөө түгээд аваа.
So it has to have very good video understanding, so it can play the games and interact with the games and actually assess whether a game is fun and actually have good judgment for whether a game is fun or not. So with version 7 of our foundation model, which finishes training this month, and then we'll go through post-training RL and whatnot, that will have excellent video understanding, and with the video understanding and improved tool use, for example, for video games, you'd want to use Unreal Engine or Unity or one of the
Unreal Engine
engines, and then generate the art, apply it to the model, and then create an executable that someone can run on a PC or a console.
Unreal Engine таад мэднэ үст те. Unreal Engine
like we're
graphic гаргадаг штэ.
Probably this year.
Одоо ийм юм хийчихдэг байхгүй хардаа guys.
So that's it's going to be wild. I would expect the first
really good ийм graphic хийчихдэг байхгүй Unreal Engine
next year.
Okay. Ийм хүмүүс ингэ хийчихдэг байхгүй. За тэгээ энэ дээр хим лохоо интеграц ордч мэл тэгээд fucking it's over bro.
TV
bro.
This year and probably the first watchable AI movie next year. Like things are really moving at.
Тэр жилдээ анхны химлоханы кино.
Yo,
bro.
With vending machines, they would just create video games for human.
Yeah, I mean, it went from not being able to do any of this,
insane,
really, even 6 months ago, to what you're seeing,
insane.
To what you're hearing, from very primitive a year ago to making.
Тэгээ компьютер тоглоом 60 $80 байхаа биш. Тэгээ $5
with a few hours of prompting.
Yep. I mean,
that's insane.
Yeah, just to recap. So in today's live stream, we introduced.
Grok 4 release. Okay, July, August. Одоо ерөнхийдөө одоо ингээ баг гарчих гэсэн юм шүү, тэ? 7 сарын 16 гарчих юм бол миний төрсөдөр гарах юм байна.
Yeah, just to recap. So in today's live stream, we introduced the most powerful, most intelligent AI models out there that can actually reason from the first principle, using all the tools, do all the research, go on the journey for 10 minutes, come back with the most correct.
Oh.
And now we already have Grok 4. And we're going to continue to accelerate as a company, XAI. We're going to be the fastest moving AGI companies.
Multimodal model.
So what's coming next is that we're going to continue developing the model that's not just intelligent, smart,
video generation model,
spend a lot of compute, but having a model that actually both fast and smart is going to be the core focus, right? So if you think about what are the applications out there that can really benefit from all those very intelligent, fast, and smart models, then coding is actually one of them.
Yeah, so the team is currently working very heavily on coding models. I think right now the main focus is we actually trained recently a specialized coding model, which is going to be both fast and smart. And I believe we can share with that model with you guys, with all of you in a few weeks.
Yeah, that's very exciting. And the second after coding is we all see the weakness of Grok 4 is the multimodal capability. So in fact, it was so bad that Grok effectively just like looking at the world, squinting through the glass, and see all the blurry features and trying to make sense of it. The most immediate improvement we're going to see with the next generation prediction model is that we're going to see a step function improvement on the model's capability in terms of image understanding, video understanding, and audios. Right? It's now the model is able to hear and see the world just like any of you. Right? And now with all the tools at its command, with all the other agents it can talk to, so we're going to see a huge unlock for many different application layers. After the multimodal agents, what's going to come after is the video generation. It should just be pixel in, pixel out, and imagine a world where you have this infinite scroll of content in inventory on the X platform, where not only you can actually watch these generated videos, but able to intervene, create your own adventures. The future is going to be wild.
And we expect to be training a video model with over 100,000 GB200s, and to begin that training within the next 3 or 4 weeks. So we're confident it's going to be pretty spectacular in video generation.
Elon Musk яагаад тэгэхээр 10 хэдэн тэрбум доллар босч байгаа нь ойлгомжтой юм байна. Yeah, this is going to be insane. No. So this is ridiculous.
Anything you guys want to say?
Yeah, guys.
I guess that's it.
Yeah, it's a good model, sir.
It's a good, yeah.
So long, and thanks
well,
for all
we're very excited for you guys to try Grok 4.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Yeah, okay. Юу жодчих guys? Амар юм те. Би жоохон айж байна. Гэтэ ингээд энийг зөв ашиглаж чадна гэдэг чинь одоо ерөнхийдөө ер нь бол их сургууль одоо юу заах хэрэгтэй юм бэ гэх юм бол иймэрхүү модельүүдийг хэрхэн ашиглах хэрэгтэй юм бэ? Яаж ашиглах вэ энийг заах хэрэгтэй юм шүү. Тэ? This is crazy. This is солиот юм байна. Тэ? Yeah. This is ridiculous. За окей тэгээ Grok 4 одоо ингэсгээд ингээ гарчих юм байна. This is fucking insane. This is ridiculous. Тэ? Та анхны ChatGPT санаж гин үнийг гачин хийдэг байсан шүү дээ. Одоо гэснэ. Хүү. Ер нь окей бид нар одоо энийг урьдчилаад мэдэрч байна заа юу. Гэхдээ нэг 6 сарын дараа юм уу? За максимумда 3 жилийн дараа заа юу. Хүн болгон өөрөөс юу асуух вэ гэх юм бол пицца би энд юу хийгээд байгаа юм бэ те? Би юу хийгээд байгаа юм бэ? Би юу сурсан юм бэ? Би энэ дэлхийн ертөнцийн дээр юу хийх ёстой юм бэ? Яагаад гэх юм бол зүгээр нэг $8 өртөгтэй юм надаас илүү юм байна. Бурхан минь. Гэхдээ би Grok ашигладаг. Одоо X дээр X Premium subscription-ээр Grok ашиглана. Тэ. Бас deep think юм уу бүх юм болцсон шүү дээ. Тэгэл туршин та 5 жилийн дараа юу? Сайн мэдэхгүй байна. Тэ. Бүгдээрээ бие өнгөлөгч болсон. Яг сайн мэдэхгүй байна. Тавсан. That was just a joke шүү guys. Мэдхгүй. Тэгээ амар сони юм шинэ юм гарч ирэх хаа. Мэдхгүй. Тэгээ хумсны салон бүгдээрээ ажиллах юм аа. I don't know. Би ерөөсөө мэдэхгүй юм байна. Тэгээ. I have no idea. This is энэ бол амар scary юм байна. Тэгээ. Тэгээд ингээ бүх юм хайчмаар ингээ санагч байгаа тэ би үхснэ гэдэг байгаа юм бэ гэх юм тий. За окей. За одоо ажиллаа хийдөө. Тэ та хайр цаг. Та одоо би ямар их цагаа зарцуулчихваа. Лайтай юм аа. Тавсан. Окей guys. Сайхан надараа. Хөрөнгө оолтууд хийгээрэй. Тэгээд энэ химэл байхантай харьцах ажиллах сурах нь амар чухал байгаа зү тий. Okay guys. Sayonara.